without my cell phone? Oh, what am I supposed to do without my cell phone?
Hey everybody, Roger here. This is my third video in regards to Jussie or whatever his name is, Smollett, and the current situation that is happening now.
Don't hate me 'cause I'm beautiful.
So, new information has popped up. There's new evidence that is out there. Hundreds of hours of footage that was reviewed, along with other new findings that a lot of people probably don't know about. They probably know about the new footage, but they probably don't know about other things, like one thing I'm about to tell you here shortly. So, I want to say Mr. Smullett now, Justin, whatever his name is being willfully incredulous at this point. He has an opportunity. Hear me out. He has an opportunity to vindicate himself and add solid evidence to his claim, but he's refusing to do so, and I'll tell you why. The officers, again, as we said earlier, the officers have now reviewed hundreds of hours of footage across the area. They didn't find anything. They have seen two people of interest, which the way that the MSM right now is playing it out, everywhere, especially TMZ, they're already being conclusive with their claims. Oh, he got beat down and this and that, and the people yelled. They're not saying alleged. It is assumed. They're not using words like that.
Jussie Smollett from Empire was the victim of a brutal, heinous hate crime in Chicago early Tuesday morning. Here's what we know. Jussie was out at around 2 a.m., went to a Subway restaurant to get some food. When he walked out, two men approached him, two men, white men in ski masks, and yelled. They used a homophobic slur, they used the N-word, and they referenced Empire. So they clearly knew who he was. When Jussie turned around, they jumped him and brutally beat the hell out of him. He broke ribs. They also poured bleach on him during the attack and put a noose around his neck. Now, here is the really, really scary part about this attack. We're told by people connected to Jussie that as the men fled, they yelled, "This is MAGA country."
You are fake news. Sir, go ahead.
They're going with the narrative now. This is an ongoing case with scenarios that are supposed, that are at best and accusations at this point. Nothing is definitive except that he was out. There's footage of him in Subway, in the restaurant Subway. That's it. That's the only definitive thing. Okay, a new camera angle came out where he is walking along, and then he gets cut off. He's walking, and then you don't see him for about a minute. And then he's walking back. And when you see him the next time walking back, he has something around his neck. Assumedly the rope that he's, the noose that he is saying that was put on him when he was fighting the assailants, or the bad people, the racists. I included that word. He never said that. But the white, MAGA-loving people. It has been confirmed that he was on the phone with his manager as the attackers yelled racial and homophobic slurs at him. So this particular thing he claimed, as you get out of the camera, that whole 1 minute section here, he's on the phone. He's on the phone as he's walking, and he's on the phone over here. And then 1 minute later, after the footage, you see him walking back with that noose around his neck. He's claiming that that's when he heard, when he was over here, that's when he was on the phone, that's when he heard the homophobic and racial slurs directed at him. Officers have asked, hey, we'd like your phone. We would like to review the contents of your phone so we can rule out anything and put some definitiveness into this case here. Because right now, again, everything is alleged. He's refusing it. He's refusing to hand over his phone to corroborate, to give credence and validity to his claims. I have a number of excuses in my head as to why. He was probably gay cruising.
18 naked cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch?
Probably. I'm gay. I know this shit. He probably was cruising, and there's probably some embarrassing content on his phone in regards to it leading up to that. Maybe they were supposed to meet in that spot, and he's gonna get found out. You know, that he was out, he left, and he was supposed to meet somebody on this corner for, you know, a quickie or something, and lo and behold, it ended up being a robbery. That's probably what I'm assuming. You know, he probably got down on his knees getting ready to do business to the other guy, and then that gave the other guy an opportunity to kick him in the rib, break the rib, punch him in the face, give him that scratch, take his wallet, or I don't even know if he has his wallet or not, but something happened. That's one possible theory. And again, these are all just theories, including his. So before you get upset with me, and there's some people that got upset with me in my last couple of videos. Oh, so now you think it's okay to beat him up? I'm like, I have no idea how that person thought what I said in that little 6-minute video had anything to do, had me saying that it was okay to beat somebody up. I 100% do not condone any sort of violence against anybody, attacks or anything, whether I agree with them, disagree with them, like them, hate them, whatever. You don't attack anybody, period. So I don't know how that person got that idea, but it's funny. I pinned it on my last video. I pinned that comment to the top. Go read it. It's pretty funny. So anyways, he refuses to hand over his phone to vindicate himself, or to at least provide evidence. And again, my theory is, that's one theory. The other theory I have is maybe he was looking for drugs or some illegal exchange, and there's correspondence on the phone, like in his text messages or an app or something, or the phone call. Maybe it was a phone call to meet this guy. It probably wasn't the manager. These two guys, maybe to meet these two guys or something for something else, and ended up turning into a bad robbery, or again, just to beat him up. Maybe something happened. Maybe there was a quarrel between those people. We can't rule any of these theories out, and he's leaving it open-ended for all of us for the people who want to read between the lines and not just take his word at face value. He's leaving it open to interpretation. However, it's not a big deal to him. It's not a big deal to him because he's gained fame out of this. He's gained increased exposure. He has an album ready to be dropped in 2 or 3 weeks here. He has a concert coming up. The guy, he did what he could to make a negative situation, to hide whatever really happened, what I assume really happened. And again, my assumption is leaning that way because he's not provided any evidence or anything to the contrary to make me believe otherwise. And he was probably told by his manager, no, you know, we got to make the light of the situation. He probably called him, the manager, saying, I just got jumped, you know, I was about to give head to this guy. And again, this is all just assumption. Don't take what I'm saying at face value. It's kind of playing into my head of one of the scenarios that I assume happened. I got, I was going down, and then I got kicked in the ribs and punched in the face, and what do I do? And his dad, because that guy, his manager refers to him as son. In the gay world, there's daddy and son, so, you know. Just take it, read it how you wish. Again, everything I'm saying is just my assumption, so bear with me. If they have their own that they're following, I have my own that I'm trying to follow as well. So anyways, he probably calls him and says, what do I do? I can't let this get out in public. Call the cops. Let's make up a story. Let's fabricate that maybe it was some people that jumped you and they were wearing ski masks and you can't identify them. The ski mask thing was probably another fake, added on scenario. Again, I'm assuming all this added on scenario to make it to where if the cops ask him what these assailants look like, oh, I couldn't tell they had ski masks. Again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that things could be fabricated. So anyways, that's where I think it's going at. That's where I think he could prove himself correct to the entire U.S., not just people like me, but to everyone. But no, he's already at a good point right now where he increases fame. He's going to sell albums. His concerts are probably going to sell out now. He's got a name now. Mission accomplished. He's a rising star at this point. Whether you believe him or not, there's a certain fan base now that he has that's solidified. Unless this turns out and bites him in the ass and the real truth comes out, the real possible truth comes out, He's set. He doesn't need to prove himself. He doesn't need to hand over his phone. He doesn't need to provide any more information to anybody. He'll go around on Ellen and all this and that, giving his story, and that's how it goes. So that's my assumption in regards to that scenario there. What else do we got here? CNN, of all news outlets, CNN actually confirms there's no valid surveillance video evidence showing this attack happened. None whatsoever. Again, the part where he pans out of the video for a whole minute and then only to resurface with that thing around his neck, and it could have been a sex toy. Who knows? Probably not a noose.
Ram Ranch.
I don't know. Maybe it was something kinky that he liked to do. Who knows? I mean, who leaves it on for like hours? He contacted the police afterwards, left it on this whole time, walked home with it on. Just, again, weird. Did the bellman at the apartment complex that he stays at there, did he notice it? Has anybody asked him? So, CNN confirms that there is no footage showing any of this. That phone call, the audio will help. If you were on the phone, it will help. But no, there's probably communication in there of some bad doings, some things that if they got out in the open, it would be very detrimental to his career. That's my assumption. So, I think it's also stone cold racist and insulting that Jussie thinks that a lot of people are so simple-minded that they're just going to accept this. It's insulting to me to know that there's a lot of minorities out there who get pissed off at me. Oh, you're not siding with him. He's a fellow minority and whatnot. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If he was white, black, Mexican, whatever, I don't care. The thing that I back is truth. I don't back assumption, allegations, or anything unless you have some evidence to back it up. I do not back that. Okay, whatever. So next thing is the neighbor. There's a neighbor that claims that they saw a strange person when they were walking their dog earlier, like 6 or 7 hours earlier, and this person was just circling, had pants that didn't fit him, that I guess went above his leg or just below his knee, rolled up or something, and apparently in the back of his belt he had a rope or clothesline, from what the lady said.
An attractive witness described the event in breathless terms.
I went to my window and I was like, whoa, there's some bullshit happening.
But she claimed that the rope that he had around his back or whatever that he was carrying with him was blue or white, and he was mumbling to himself, and it looked like he was circling or just waiting in the area, soliciting around the area, just in that area. That's what she claims. If this is the case, footage of that area. Is there anybody with footage there? Is there surveillance there in that area? I'm assuming that there is. If so, let's see if her story is valid, that this person was there just roaming around. If that's the case, you have your man. This person didn't have a ski mask apparently during the daytime, I'm assuming from what she's saying. Let's have her describe this man's face. Let's have her describe other things about him. Not just the clothes he was wearing, not just the beaten down clothes that he was wearing, and how he looked like he was redneck and whatnot. I don't want any of that. I want specifics. And I think the public deserves specifics too. We don't need no added insulting evidence that's supposed to appease the brain dead to just assume that this is all real. We need evidence. Go question this lady. And get more information out of her. See if there's footage around this area. If there's not, again, this is another big ass lie. Yeah, I think there's potentially incriminating or embarrassing things that are on that phone. That's the reason why he doesn't want to share it, my opinion. Because again, if they're not filming right now, he doesn't need that phone for the time being. He especially if this was, what is it, a week earlier, there was this thing mailed to him that he was going to die or whatever. That didn't get out in the news earlier. It didn't seem like they were too concerned about it back in the day when that little letter came out, which I think, again, anybody with gloves could have written this backwards with the other hand. What hand they're not, unless they're ambidextrous, and then they could have mailed it themselves from a different area. I mean, it's not hard to think of the possible scenarios. God, I want to be I would love to work in a police force just to get this, my ideas. I would think a regular person would think of this. Even somebody with a low IQ could see that everything right now is alleged. It's not total truth. But the media has everybody by the balls. They have them by the brain. They're force feeding them all this bullshit about, oh, we're right, and they fall for it. I'm embarrassed for the average American brain believing any of this shit. So, yeah, my thing here overall, I think the narrative goal is to push his popularity with this scenario here. Vindication is not needed anymore. He's got what he wants at this point. He's an up-and-coming star at this point, more so than he was before. And yeah, MSM is misleading everybody, claiming everything is definitive and absolute. Hardly using the word alleged anymore. There was even one lady, and I'll see if I can pin it to this video or a link to it. She said the stupidest thing ever. She's like, the thing that bugs me the most is that everybody is looking at this like the officers and stuff, everybody's saying alleged. She's like, that's the whole problem with the story, is that everybody's looking at it as alleged. She's like, I know it happened, and it should be relayed as it happened, that it did happen, and that's it, end of story. I'm like,
I don't agree with the fact that they're calling it. I understand why, but I don't like that it's being put out there in the media that this is a possible hate crime. I think that even sows a seed that makes people feel like, well, is he making this up? Well, what is this about? I don't like that. Like, don't put that in people's minds. This man was hurt, he was injured, and he needs justice. Point blank.
You are fake news. Sir, go ahead. Can you...
You're so dumb. That is not how it works. And you know what? She is speaking to the idiot. She is speaking to the weak-minded who will accept that and be like, oh, yeah, she's right. You know, it did happen. We don't need any questioning. Give me the next news story that I can fucking drool over. It's so stupid. Oh, let me go buy my tickets for the fan now. I love him. I believe him. I believe him. Listen and believe. Like Tree of Logic would say, just listen and believe. Quoting you, Tree. So, my opinion overall, you're an embarrassment to the LGBTQ community. You feed off of this false narrative. Again, I'm alleging it. I'm not saying 100% that this is what you're doing, but you're not cooperating. You could solve this now. You could end our questioning, people like me, and our questioning of the validity of your case if you just give your phone to the officers. I don't know. There's so much that could be vindicated here, but no, you're where you need to be. You're an embarrassment. You're choosing the victimization route, and the LGBTQ community now is basically the victimization group at this point. So why I'm not in it anymore? You know, as a gay man myself, I look at you and I'm thinking to myself, you're an embarrassment. This is an embarrassment to minorities. This is an embarrassment to minorities who will accept the word of another minority just because they're minority. Doesn't matter if they're telling the truth or if they're lying. They'll just accept it because they're minority. I have a lot of minorities in the last couple of videos that are mad at me because I'm siding with logic instead of with a minority. How stupid. It's insulting. Why do you think we don't advance as minorities? As a whole as minorities. Why do you think, I'm going to put this out there, why do you think a lot of white people in the world, the majority of white people, look at us and think that we are trying to tear them down? It's because we are. As a whole, we are. You know, it's sad. It's sad. And the people are falling for it. I don't understand it. Case closed, in my opinion. If you're not willing to hand over any evidence, I feel sorry for the people that are just actually going out there and believing this bullshit and just thinking to themselves that, you know, he's a minority. I'm not going to question him. I like him. He's cool. Weak-minded people. This is why minorities, the majority of minorities, stay stuck mentally and don't advance themselves. And you think that I'm, and a lot of you even claim, you think I'm racist because I bring this shit up. I bring up facts because I want people to progress from them. We don't need to be holding ourselves back in any of this bullshit. None of it. Let's move past this. Start being honest with yourself. Start being real with yourself. You're not oppressed. You're in America. You have the best opportunities of any minority in the existence of the world, in the existence of humanity. We're in a great time. And for him, you know, one of my videos here shortly is going to be about what real beauty is. You know, I love beautiful people. Beautiful people from the inside. From the inside, I don't care what you look like on the outside. Lizzie Velasquez. Follow her. She is amazing. She is a good role model for what I believe true beauty is, and she's an awesome soul, and she is beautiful from the outside as well. There's a couple of other people that I follow, but there's this woman who crosses by my window at my office, and she looks like she's an adult, but she looks like she's beautiful, but she looks like she's a kid. And in my mind, I think that she probably has issues with you know, being in a relationship with somebody her age, who I know she's older because she's walking around with coworkers, and she looks very young. So I assume that it's probably troubling for her, and she probably feels like her partner, if she's trying to seek one, looks like a pedophile. Again, I'm running off the cuff here, and I'm assuming for her, which is bad, but I'm using it as an example. That's real beauty. Those are real people with real struggles, and right now we're all focused on this stupid-ass struggle that this person is fabricating, this Jussie Smollett, whatever, is fabricating, making all of us look like fools. Ridiculous. Don't stoop to this level, people. You're better than this. Anyways, what are you guys' thoughts with these new revelations? Should he just hand over his phone and get this all taken care of, and see if and get it all in the limelight? Let us all see the evidence. Let us all hear the evidence.
Oh, what am I supposed to do without my cell phone?
Or should he just stick to his lies, since now he has what he wants? Fame, growing fame and popularity among the brainless people that love him. Anyways, like, hate, subscribe, unsubscribe, share, don't share. I love it all. Peace out.
Cowboys in the showers at Ram Ranch, on their knees wanting to suck cowboy. Ram Ranch really rocks.